Hey guys, welcome to Meets the Fight. Today we have Hanger, the banger, to join us. How are you?
Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Hanger. I'm from Asia. Currently probably #1, though I might be sucking my own dick there. Not sure.
So, what is the thing you enjoy the most in your deck or playstyle right now?
So in my deck, well, I quite like this string, the Steamer Blow, Club Uppercut, and Sidekick. And it's really strong because you break guard with that, you get 1, 2, 3. You break guard with Sidekick, you get this classic, and if you break guard with Club Uppercut, you get 1, 2, and 3 with an Oki, because then you can do that instead. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things. With my playstyle, it's probably very baity. I tend to do a lot of stuff like with avoids and with punishes, etc. That's mostly how I play, so that I can force my opponent to do something, right? Makes them easier to read in general. Yeah, that's typically what I enjoy with my deck and my playstyle, I guess.
So tell us more about your deck. How does it work?
Well, the back stances are used for mostly confirms, right? This is used as a conditioning tool, as well as a stamina pressure thing. Each one of these moves does an insane amount of stamina damage, and if you break, you get full confirms on everything like you saw earlier. If you break here, you get 1, 2, 3. And this one is mostly just used for me to kind of control them even more. And, well, 6 blocks done into a 16 frame move. It's just trying to keep everything solid so that I can keep conditioning and keep forcing. You might see that there's no guard breaks, but guard breaks kind of don't matter down the long run, and especially against styles like Cult, you almost don't really want to use guard breaks, so you can do stuff like make them absorb or force them to use Tetsu. I mean, I guess that's about it. Like, it just works like that. It's just a really straightforward deck. You pressure with the front stance, and then you confirm with the back stance, and then you control with the bottom right. That's essentially it. Oh, and I should mention also, the reason why Psychic is on its own, right, and it's on the top right stance, is so that I can do funky unlock shit like this. Right, so I can kind of throw Psychic out whenever I want, and that's something I really, really like.
So, how do you like to play?
Well, first things first is I always start with Sidekick, because if they block it, they're gonna probably try and interrupt because it's only 3 blocks done, and that allows me to basically kind of get a read on whatever it is they want to do, whether they're interrupt heavy or whether they're block heavy. So if they're blocking, then I just keep doing this kind of shit, and then they expect the Cleaver Blow, and I throw that out. And that's about it. And then as soon as I get thrown to my back stance, I always have this tool and that tool. If the opponent is being really irritating with stuff like Rat Punch, then I have to check them with Temple Knock. And I keep checking them and I keep checking them until they do something outside of my expectations. And that's when I have to kind of adapt again. But essentially, it's all just revolving around me using tools to kind of get a read on them, and essentially to force them to do something that I want them to do.
And how do you deal with different styles?
Depends on the style, really. Because Forsaken is just fainting, and Forsaken sucks. Windfall, you kind of just have to play really solidly. There's no other excuse. Things like Cult, often I want them to absorb, so I can do absorb avoids, right? And that takes a lot of reading. Phajin is disgustingly irritating to fight. Not my fun. I just try to survive against the Phajin, essentially. A good one. Luckily, no good Phajins in Asia, so that's fine. But Stagger, on the other hand, is really simple. Windfalls can do the same thing against Staggers that Cults do, which is avoid and you manual dodge away. And usually the Stagger that comes can't really reach this. And then you can punish them with a whiff, because there's a lot of recovery.
Then
so yeah.
also the option to just bait the side stack and just down to get a good advantage.
Precisely. So ideally against a stagger, you kind of just want them to start fainting their staggers because they'll start doing it, and then you just hammer down the fucking buttons until they lose their shit. That's pretty much how it kind of works for me, I guess.
And is there something you're trying to improve?
Sneak mentioned to me actually that there's the way I play, because I play it very baity, and I have to use a lot of risk. So I often tend to be extremely risk heavy. So for example, when I see a string like this or that, I'm always trying to block or avoid something. When in fact, what I should be doing is as soon as I block that, I should just be interrupting with the 12 frame. Right? And there's a lot of, and the reason being is because the worst that can happen is that I eat a wobble myself, and that's 80 damage, and that's whatever. As opposed to losing, what is it, 40 and 60, 100 stamina. Like, if I block both of these, I lose 100 stamina. If I try and jump the wobble, I eat 140 damage. And so me not making considerations like that cognizantly enough eventually leads me to be rather inconsistent in my wins, because I basically gamble in the game. I hope that what I'm throwing out there is being read by the opponent so that I can read his read or read their read. And basically I just go off the faith that I'm going to be doing the right thing, because I don't really think about what I'm doing. I just put like a signal out there for what I'm doing, and then hopefully they catch on to it. Then I can abuse that they're catching on to it. But so that allows me, that forces me to play very risk heavy. And when I play risk heavy, I tend to lose. So I need to kind of play more like the EU players. Sit on block, just wait for a safe avoid, be hyper boring, become sneak. Uh-oh, there is a big boy, he's come in, interrupt with the 12 frame. Shit like that. Like, that's what I need to do more. But yeah, boring.
So, let's do some fights to see it in action.
Sure.